Good afternoon and welcome back to the main stage. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the last stage session of today, but there's time for the employer booths. So I'm very happy and delighted to be joined by Kerry and Philippa. So the slight change of tack for today, we're going to be focusing more on what it's like to work in STEM and SME. So I'm sure they'll both introduce themselves in a lot better detail than I can, but Kerry project manages the brand new LCR Liverpool City Region graduate scheme, and Philippa is the MD of CNC Robotics, also based in the Liverpool City Region. So I will hand you over to them. So Kerry, Philippa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ali. I'm just going to do the difficult bit and share my screen before we get started. 1 second. Oh, great. My window seems to be not appearing. Give me 1 sec. I'll introduce myself as I'm getting this up. So I'm based at the Liverpool University of Liverpool, but we're running a scheme which is to work with, oh, sorry, give me 1 sec. Disaster.
It's a true test of technology, this, isn't it? Hey.
Do you know what, Philippa? I'm stuck in the depth of our building, and sometimes we just completely run out of signal, which isn't helpful. Right, okay, so the document's open. That's a really good start.
Nice. Give me a shout if you've got any issues getting it live. But yeah, this is all part of the fun, isn't it? So
it is part of the fun. Do you know what? So I just did an event very similar to this morning up for digital innovation kind of hub up there. I think you always have technical difficulties, don't you? It's never easy.
You do, and it's even more fun at a STEM event as well.
Do you know what, Philippa, do you mind if we flip for 1 second?
No, that's fine.
Do you mind? Thank you so much. That makes more sense. So I'll let you go first.
So hi everyone. Sorry I can't kind of speak to you guys in person, but hopefully we'll be able to meet in person in the not so distant future. But my name's Philippa Glover and I'm the managing director here at CNC Robotics. So we're a 20-person SME based within the Liverpool City region, just around the corner from Aintree Racecourse, and we're an 11-year-old business, and we're really at the cutting edge of digital technologies. So we are the UK's leading integrator, so robotic integrator, specialising in advanced machining applications. So we basically turn robots into milling machines, and that is used by a whole diverse range of clients. So from prop manufacturers who are making the Avengers cockpits, or the Mission Impossible helicopter, or the vehicles for the Dune movie, the Batmobile, that was all made on one of CNC Robotics systems, to supporting providing machines for education. So the University of Liverpool have actually got 2 of our robotic machines, and working in kind of space, aerospace, automotive, electric vehicle, you name the sector, we've probably provided a machine to one of those clients. And it's a really, really exciting time for us as a business, because actually there's a huge opportunity here within the UK to really try and accelerate the adoption of digital technologies. And actually that's something that I'm really passionate about. So not only am I the managing director of CNC Robotics, I also sit on something called the Made Smarter Commission, which actually is quite a big deal, because we meet with the BEIS Secretary of State. So we meet directly with government, and I'm there as the SME representative alongside large corporate organisations, really lobbying and championing the sector and helping kind of influence policy around innovation adoption, but also around skills. And obviously here today, we're talking about kind of skills. And I'm very lucky to sit on a couple of other advisory boards, really trying to influence that agenda and really look at how do we, as the UK, really transform the manufacturing kind of base and ensure that we really kind of lead in the adoption of digital technologies and really develop a future innovation strategy. So, it's a really exciting time, and I'm really quite lucky at what I do here at CNC Robotics, but also what I'm able to do in my role in the wider ecosystem, not only in Liverpool, in the Northwest, but also nationally. So just to tell you a little bit about background about me, I'm actually not an engineer, I'm a chemist. So I've got a master's in chemistry, and I went to the University of Sheffield, where I did an industrial placement for Procter & Gamble in my 3rd year. And I then went on to do their graduate scheme at Procter & Gamble. It was an absolutely fantastic experience, and I worked in research and development and basically developed my career through managing and leading research and development teams until I moved into operations in other businesses as I started to develop my career. What I found during that time is that what I was really, really good at and what I really enjoyed was the strategic thinking around, I suppose, that innovation strategy and thinking about science and technology in that element. So I'm probably not one of those people that, get their hands dirty in terms of with the conical flasks or spanners and do the physical engineering. I'm there really thinking strategically about, okay, well, how do we really do what we need to do and develop and grow businesses and economies? And that's kind of stemmed from a lot of my career. And unfortunately, I was made redundant whilst I was on maternity leave, which, is, something that, hopefully won't happen to anyone else. But actually, that gave me a real opportunity to take a step back and look at the things that I was really good at and what I wanted to do. And I started to look out in the city region to go, well, what are the companies that are around? And I was working at the time with lots of different SMEs in an innovation advisory role, which is where I met CNC Robotics. And it really opened my eyes to around what are the opportunities within a small business, how you can directly influence the direction, and actually how it's almost how fast-paced and exciting that opportunity is, maybe versus to some of the roles that I was doing previously in bigger business. And in essence, I'm now the managing director of CNC Robotics. I'm responsible for growing and building this business, and we have transformed the business over the past 3 years. We have gone from a £1 million business to a £2 million business, which may not necessarily sound like a huge amount, but actually that's a massive step. That's a huge step for a business. We've also grown in terms of number of employees, and we're entering the next phase of our journey where we've just moved into a new building. So I was saying to these guys, I'd introduce you to Larry. So if you do come and see us, this is Larry. This is my office. I've got a swanky office with Larry the Lobster in there. And Larry kind of is from our roots in the creative industries, which is why we kind of have kept him there, because we were born out of the creative industries and the need to kind of build machines. So my career path has been very much always in that STEM and engineering, but actually kind of developing through the managerial route and looking at how I could use my knowledge and the problem solving skills I learned in my career in a business sense, and how that can be really kind of transformative from a business. And, it's been fundamentally important to kind of where I am today, and, I suppose where we will take the business in the future. Why Liverpool? So I'm really enthusiastic about Liverpool, really enthusiastic about the business space here in Liverpool. And do you know what? It's a really, really exciting time to be part of the city. So the city has got a huge amount of opportunities, not only in the SME kind of digital space that we sit in, but also in the wider research landscape. We're really, really highly regarded in the UK as kind of a leading light for innovation. And once you start to peel the layers off, you will see so many innovative SMEs like CNC Robotics who are doing groundbreaking things, who are supporting not only other SMEs, but also leading massive businesses that are really pioneering and champion kind of some of the challenges that we're facing, particularly around net zero. We're working a lot with electric vehicle manufacturers, helping them look at new production methods. And, that's something that, is fundamental to everything that we need to do. We've got to tackle the climate challenge, and it's great that actually that's happening here in Liverpool. And for us, we very much see ourselves as part of that ecosystem. So, for you guys, one of the things that we were just talking about backstage is, find those businesses, go and do some research, look on Google and get in touch with businesses like CNC Robotics or even us. And sometimes that might open a door, and that might open a door to some work experience or actually, a full-time role. And if I look around the office right now, the majority of people here at CNC Robotics are here, not because they applied for a job, actually. It's because they knocked on the door and they said, do you know what? We really, really love what you do. We want to be part of that. And this is how we think our skills can benefit. And they've carved those opportunities. Our apprentice that's downstairs, who's currently studying for a degree apprenticeship, did exactly that. He knocked on the door, he made his own opportunity. And I basically said to him, you can come anytime. He turned up on the Monday and he's just never gone home. And, now he's studying his degree apprenticeship. And if I'm honest, if I look back on my career, that's probably what's got me to where I am today. you know, even from a young age when I was at college and it was at university, I always reached out to local businesses to get some experience and to start to understand how those businesses operate. And that is really, really invaluable. So yes, there's graduate schemes and they are absolutely fantastic. I did one, it was brilliant. But actually, if I had my time again, I think I probably would be joining an SME, because it's a really, really exciting time to be part of that. And there is a huge amount of support through the various different schemes, but also you just get exposed to everything. You know, you would be directly working with someone like me who, you know, I don't have all the answers, but actually you get to be part of solving the problems that you face on a day-to-day perspective, both kind of tactically, but also in that strategic piece. So, you know, one of the things that I also wanted to just briefly talk about, hopefully I've not taken too much time, Kerry, is the STEM SME community. So there is an absolutely fantastic community here in Liverpool, you know, to support you to grow and to really help you to reach your potential. And I know it can be quite daunting. And I'm, you know, old hat at doing networking events and going to these things, but, you know, please dig deep and think about some of the networking events that you see and just go. And even if it's going and standing in the corner and having a chat with someone at a coffee machine, you absolutely won't regret it. You know, and there's fantastic organisations like Northern Power Women. So Northern Power Women do kind of what's known as reverse mentoring, and they do carousel mentoring. I think it's about once a month, and we can put the details in the chat, where you can meet people like me and you can have mentoring sessions for 15 minutes. And that can really open up doors and opportunities and help you with some of your thinking. And likewise, that not only benefits you, it benefits us. I learn every single time from those engagements, and it helps me, you know, think differently and think about what we need to do within the business, because, you know, I haven't got all the answers. I actually need people like you to come into the business and help us identify those challenges. So Northern Power Women is a fantastic network. There's also a network called Make UK, and I, just by chance, I'm quite a champion of that, because I run the regional advisory board. I've just taken over as chair. So maybe that's something that we should look and explore as to how we can engage with, you know, some of the young people in the Northwest and the region. But that organisation, Make UK, is made up of lots of manufacturing and engineering businesses, often leading the way in terms of their use of digital technologies or the products or what they're doing around society. And they put on lots of events where you can go and learn about the sector, you can meet people, and there's also SciTech Daresbury that's up over by Warrington. You know, they do business breakfasts. They also have quite an active innovation hub, and have some fantastic companies within their patch. And then a final one, which I probably would recommend, is Digital Manufacturing Week. So if you really, really love digital technologies and you're curious about what companies like CNC Robotics do and how you can get involved, digital manufacturing is one of the biggest kind of events kind of within the region for manufacturing. And actually it's a global event. It attracts a huge amount of interest, not only here in the UK, but overseas. And there they have a showcase of innovation kind of technology, but also kind of manufacturers and elements. And we probably need to see how you guys are engaging with that through the grad scheme, whether there are any opportunities to attend. But and there's lots more. So if you want to know more about the kind of community and you want to get in touch, and, you know, please just befriend me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a fantastic resource. You know, make sure you're putting your posts up on there around what you're doing in your studies and your final year projects. Hashtag the hell out of it. You know, find people like me and copy me in, and we will help you kind of understand what those opportunities are. And also, you know, that can help you unlock those opportunities. Hopefully that's kind of giving you a bit of a flavour. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic being in an SME, and, you know, I feel really privileged to be able to talk to you guys on behalf of CNC Robotics about this. So yeah, the grad scheme is one way that you can join a company like ours, and I will hand you over to Kerry, who can talk you through what that application process is and how you go about creating those opportunities.
Thank you so much, Philippa, and that worked actually really well, because you've given hopefully whet the appetite of some of our attendees on, you know, what it's like to work in an SME and the STEM on the STEM side of things. And what I'm going to do for the next 15 minutes is show how the LCR Grad scheme can facilitate that. You know, Philippa, as you said, a lot of the way is kind of contacting businesses. I think that's really great. And we're quite conscious that some students might not have the confidence to do that. And so we've kind of, I guess, done that job for you a little bit. Can I just check, Philippa? You just tell me verbally that you can see my screen.
I can see your screen, yeah.
Fab, thank you. So let's start by what the LCR Grad Scheme is then. So we are a brand new project, as Ali mentioned before, and we're funded by the European Social Fund. So our aim is to bridge that gap between SMEs who are looking to recruit talent and who are very supportive of the Liverpool City region and want to encourage retention of talent here, and kind of connect those businesses with the graduates who, you know, it pains both them and us as higher education institutions to see a lot of our talent leaving the region, when quite often you know you speak to students and they say, I'm so keen to stay here, but I can't necessarily find the right career route. And so that's what we're here to do. Our project runs until September 2023, and over that period there's going to be at least one intake of LCR grads. So we are in final stages of having recruited our first 13 LCR grads, and our next intake is going to be January 2022. So if you're on the call today and you're a graduate still looking for a role, please look out and apply for us kind of starting from November time if you're interested in starting a job in January. And then for those of you who are in your final year, you'll be applying to start in September 2022. There's going to be another intake then, and then the same for 2023. So there's opportunities here for both final years, second years, and graduates. So what our team does is goes out and I guess does that bit of networking maybe for you. You know, we're doing business development constantly across the Liverpool City region and pulling together graduate level roles under one umbrella. So on behalf of the SMEs who have advertised a role through us, we run a marketing campaign, we run the recruitment process, and then we also take charge of enhancing, I guess, the career development by offering, in addition to the training that a lot of businesses will be offering on the job, a 6-month training and development program to all the grads who are joining across the different businesses. And I think the brilliant thing about that is sometimes, you know, as a graduate starting in SME, you may feel a little, you know, you might be the most inexperienced person starting that business, and you know, it's nice to have that community, and you'll have a buddy who's working in another business who's also on the grad scheme, and we're really looking forward to kind of pulling all of the grads together on a monthly basis and offering that social element as well as the training and development. So the grad scheme has 2 separate streams. The first is marketing and business operations, which is open to graduates from all degree disciplines. Then the second is technical, which is probably, you know, most applicable to those of you here today. And that's where some businesses will come to us and say, you know, we need someone with a specific academic background, you know, we need an engineer, we need a software developer, and we can, you know, that's why we have those 2 separate streams to distinguish and make it so that we're really offering something for everyone. For every intake, so over the next 3 years, those 2 streams will stay the same. However, the roles on offer and the businesses each intake will change. So for example, across the businesses we're currently working with, some of the roles we have include software developers, data analysts, we've got health and safety executive, and a biomedical sales associate as well. So you can see some of the roles are more generic and some are more niche. And all of those are with STEM-focused SMEs in the Liverpool City region. Now, if you're a current second year or a current finalist, the roles on offer when you come to apply will be different, and you just need to keep an eye on our website where there's a short job description which is constantly updated and letting you know which roles are available for every intake. So who is it for? Now, we are a funded project, and so this support is only available for those who meet certain eligibility criteria. This is a really important point we want you to note, you know, at this stage. because we don't want to waste your time in applying. So, you know, we need you to have a residential address in the Liverpool City region. You know, if you're intending to stay here, that's great. You don't have to be from Liverpool, as long as you have that kind of address and that desire to stay here and really feed back in to the region's development. We do need you to have a right to work in the UK, and that is because you know, we can't always offer, some of the businesses we're working with can't always offer visa support. You'd be a current student, so you know, if you're applying for the September 2022, you'd be a current student, or if you're applying for a current role or the January intake, you'll be a recent graduate, so class of 2020 or 2021. Now, because we are funded by the European Social Fund, we have got some questions which you may not used to be seeing as part of an application process. And those are just for data monitoring purposes only, but we do need you to complete all steps. But on the flip side, the positive of being funded by the European Social Fund is that we are able to offer applicants support on an ongoing basis. So, for example, we have candidates who've recently come to our assessment centre and they're not quite ready to be put forward for a final round with the businesses. And so what we'll say is, you know, it's not a straight rejection. We're actually going to continue working with you, offering you mock interviews, inviting you to our event. And that's, you know, part of what the funding is there for. So it really is the start of an employability enhancing journey, as opposed to just a job application which you're going to receive a yes or no to. So hopefully we've really made you want to find out more and think about applying. So I'll give you some insider hints and tips for our application process. So the first stage is an online application, which you'll need to have a CV, a supporting statement / cover letter, and you'll need to complete a video interview. A couple of points there. If you haven't got work experience, you know, we and the businesses we work with are very conscious that the last year has been very difficult in terms of getting work experience. So you can use your CV to demonstrate, and your supporting statement indeed, to demonstrate your interests, you know, talk about volunteering experience, any kind of entrepreneurial activity. You know, engagement in campus life is really important as well. So I think don't be stressed or put off from applying. We are here to develop you, and that's what our training and development side is all about, kind of getting you work ready. Tailor your supporting statement to the job you're applying for. So have a look at our website, you know, review what we're really looking for in our LCR grads, and how can you actually make this fit with your own skills and strengths. The video interview, don't be nervous about it. I know it can be daunting to talk to a screen and you're not getting much back like I'm doing right now. But, you know, these questions aren't supposed to be difficult. They are literally to find out more about you, and for us to see, you know, oh, this person's character will fit with the culture of X business, Y business who we're working with. So we're just looking to find out a little bit about you. If you get through the online application, the next stage is assessment centre, and that consists of 2 interviews, one motivational / strength based, the other competency based, and everyone's favourite group exercise. Competency based interview, you know, they should be straightforward as long as you follow the STAR method, so situation, task, action, result. But what I'd say is, for competency-based questions, try to give a range of examples. So think outside the box, you know, don't just keep going back to, you know, if you give a sport example for the first question, try not to keep giving the same one. And, you know, life examples function just as well sometimes, as long as you're bringing it back to the question. That is the most important thing. Motivational and strength-based questions need to be answered honestly. There's no right or wrong answer. No one's trying to trip you up. Again, this interview is to find out if, you know, you're going to be the right fit for an SME, and also to find out, you know, how you work as well. So I think you just have to be yourself in that one. the group exercise is not necessarily testing the idea that the group comes up with together. It's about how you work in a team and how you function in that particular exercise. So the idea itself, you know, I've come across a lot of group exercises where candidates will get very stressed, and if their idea isn't accepted by the group, I think if that happens, sometimes it's good to take a step back and then start thinking about how your contribution is, what your contribution to the group is, how you're facilitating and bringing everyone together, because that is actually what you're really being assessed on in a group exercise. The way our process works is the final round is when the businesses get involved. So if you get to this stage, you've done really well, and our kind of internal team are deemed you to have passed the assessment centre. Then what we will do is send you out to meet 2 businesses at least. You may meet 3. And the reason for that is to give the business a choice of the candidate, but also to give you a choice. And, you know, businesses are always, interviews are always a 2-way street. And it's as much about the candidate finding out that the business is right for them as the business finding out that the candidate's right for them. My top tip, if you get to final round, is you'll be given a detailed job description, and you'll obviously learn the name of the businesses that you're going out to. Research the businesses, but don't just regurgitate what's on the website when the business was set up, etc. Actually look at recent news items on the businesses. You know, look at their social media, look at what they've done recently, and actually think about that and how that applies to you as an individual. You know, I read that you were involved in X development recently. That really resonates with me because I've worked on, you know, I've done a dissertation on climate change, or I'm super interested in kind of low carbon. Then I think if you're kind of bringing those things back to yourself, you're showing that you are a good fit with the business and that you're curious. And my final tip is ask questions always. You know, if you go to an interview and you don't have any questions to ask, it kind of shows that you're not really interested in learning more. So even if you think you've learned everything you needed to, have something in your back pocket to ask the interviewer. And really, again, that's going to be your chance to find out more about them too. So obviously Philip has already done her insight. If you want to find out anything more about our LCR grad scheme, please do get in touch with us by this email address. Again, like Philip has said, please get in touch, link in with me. More than happy to take any questions. And we'll be running events on campus at all Liverpool higher education institutions over the next kind of year. So we're really looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you.
Can I just echo what you were saying there about,
yes,
you know, showcasing some of the things that you do outside of your studies? You know, I know from our perspective, from an SME, you know, that is really, really important. Don't underestimate the value of some of the things that you do outside of your studies. You know, and you may think that employers want to hear from an academic perspective, but actually what we're looking for is your ability to problem solve, to think creatively, to kind of work as part of a team. And there's absolutely fantastic examples from the hobbies and the interests that you have outside of work. So just really think about that in the context of when you're applying for these schemes and for roles.
Some really good advice at the end there. Thank you very much, Philippa, and thank you very much, Kerry. Yeah, I mean, from an R&P point of view, we are an SME as well, so I am slightly biased. We obviously work with some big employers, but I think there are so many great opportunities, and we were talking backstage about the amount of opportunity to meet people and see whole parts of the business working for an SME. So I would strongly recommend, there is more to life than just doing a grad scheme. There's more opportunities than just in a grad scheme. So
I think, sorry, Ali, just to jump in on one point there, I think one of the great things, you know, what we're trying to create in our offer is maybe a little bit more of a, you know, a mix of the two. So you've got kind of the comfort and some of the benefits of a graduate scheme. You know, you've got that network, you've got that sense of community. I think sometimes a graduate scheme can be a really nice transition from university life into the world of work. So we're hoping to create a little bit of that comfort through our scheme, but then actually you also get the benefit of your day-to-day job being with an SME. So
yeah, but Kerry, one of the things, so if you know, if people don't decide to go down that graduate scheme route through kind of large corporate or from an SME perspective, there's also, you know, active groups. So, you know, the IET, if you work in engineering and technology, you know, if you know, become a student member, and here in Liverpool there's a Cheshire and Warrington branch that's run, and they do technical visits. So CNC Robotics technical visit was last night virtually, where our founding owner and CTO was just talking about, you know, our experiences as a business and what some of the technologies that we do, and they're great kind of ways of getting your own support network from other companies who are dealing with similar challenges to you. And I know, you know, I think Kerry said sometimes that can be quite daunting, but there are other organisations that you probably already engage with, being from a background from STEM perspective, who will become fundamental to you as you start to be those early career scientists or engineers, that have got some active groups here in Liverpool.
Yeah, and back yourself and see yourself as an employee, not just a student. I think is the other side to that.
Yeah, some great tips, and one of the reasons why we run events like today is just to show the breadth of opportunities that there are. And we've heard for some great people who offer some amazing undergraduate and graduate schemes, and it's also really interesting to hear ones like the LCR initiative, Kerry, which is so exciting. And as you say, the best of both, and Philippa, really interesting to hear your journey. You've done the graduate scheme, and now you find yourself right at the top of a slightly smaller SME organisation. So some really good breadth from today. I'm very conscious of time. We've, because of the great content, I wanted to make sure we squeeze as much of it in as possible. I believe certainly yourself, Kerry, and hopefully yourself, Philippa, might be able to join the booth afterwards. So we had some excellent questions coming in. So Timmy, thank you. Callum, a few anonymous ones. I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to deal with those on the main stage, but please go over to the employer booth to ask those questions. It's probably a good opportunity for me to just wrap up the main stage then. So I want to say a massive thank you to all of the employers, all the recruiters who have been involved today. And yesterday we've heard some amazing and really inspiring stories. Thank you very much to Kerry. Thank you very much to Philippa, and thank you to all listeners. And we're running a few more in these series as well. So look at events.ratemyplacement.co.uk to look at the other virtual events that we're running, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. Hope you enjoyed today, and we'll hopefully enjoy the rest of the day too. But Kerry, Philippa, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.